Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be breaking down the newly released teaser trailer for Captain America Brave New World. I've got to say, I was actually kind of surprised Marvel would be dropping a trailer for this movie, as it's set to come out February of next year, so 7 months away. So that's still quite a long time for the release of a film, especially for a film like this. But I think it makes sense considering Marvel's only slated theatrical film of this year is Deadpool and Wolverine, and with it set to come out this month, I think Marvel is also taking this opportunity to also present other works that they have going forward past Deadpool and Wolverine. Last week alone, we got an Agatha trailer and now a trailer for Captain America Brave New World. Of course, personal preference, I didn't choose to cover the Agatha video, but I prefer to do this. Film is one I'm really interested in, and I want to also go over the footage and break down what you may have missed. So the opening of this trailer has Sam Wilson entering an office in the White House, and he's greeted by none other than Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, played by actor Harrison Ford. The character of Thunderbolt Ross was previously played by actor William Hurt. However, he had passed away, so in this film, he's going to be replaced by actor Harrison Ford. Anthony Mackie / Sam Wilson mentions how he's not used to the new look. This is obviously a meta joke at the recasting of Harrison Ford taking over the role, and also poking fun at the character's signature look being a mustache the actor isn't sporting in this film. But I also think this is also somewhat of a meta joke / recasting joke akin to something like Iron Man 2, where we got the reveal of Don Cheadle playing James Rhodes / War Machine, where in the first Iron Man film he was played by Terrence Howard, but from Iron Man 2 onwards the actor got replaced, and now it is Don Cheadle assuming that role of the character going forward. Thaddeus Ross mentions to Sam how they haven't always agreed in the past. Him saying this is a reference to Captain America Civil War, as Thunderbolt Ross, who was Secretary of State at the time, was the one to talk to the Avengers about the destruction and collateral damage they've caused during their battles, which is what enacted the Sokovia Accords, which was superheroes having to be registered with the government and operating on the government's terms. Also, Thunderbolt Ross mentions how he wants to make Captain America an official military position. I think this is a reference to John Walker, aka US Agent, before transitioning into US Agent and getting his comic book costume. He was sort of like the government's official Captain America, because of the fact that Sam Wilson earlier in the series feels unsure of whether he can bear the mantle of Captain America, so he gives it back. But in doing so, the government appoints John Walker as their new Captain America. Throughout the course of the series, John Walker, he starts to go over the edge, and he ultimately is corrupted because of the fact he found a vial of super soldier serum, and when his friend and ally Battlestar died during the events of the series, it sent John Walker off the deep end, being a disgraced hero. With Ross mentioning this again to Sam Wilson and how he wants to give it another go, I think he's seen how Sam Wilson favored by the public, especially in the finale of the series, where a lot of people were cheering and they were actually pretty proud to see a person of color bear the shield. So I think Ross is going to be using this to his advantage, or he wants to try and utilize Sam now bearing the Captain America mantle. This can help Thunderbolt Ross maybe gain more popularity by the public, so that the public is almost like assured, don't worry, I'm a good candidate, because of the fact heroes like Captain America are working together with myself as well as the government in helping ensure a safe world. But of course, this comes to a head when Sam Wilson also says, what if we disagree? This is also another callback to Captain America Civil War, where we had the scene of our heroes in the Avengers compound discussing the Sokovia Accords, with Captain America mentioning how the government's agendas can change, and with us being registered into the government, what does that allow for us to do as superheroes? The Sokovia Accords take away our right to choose. We see this in Fleet firing some missiles. Thaddeus Ross says, work with me, Sam, as we see this car explode. We get this scene of Thunderbolt Ross during his speech, and we get a shot of the audience and the front row as we see Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie. We see Danny Ramirez, aka Joaquin Torres, who was introduced in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series as an ally to Sam Wilson, and right next to Joaquin Torres is the character of Isaiah Bradley, who was also introduced in said show as well. In the series, Isaiah Bradley was introduced as this forgotten hero that had the super soldier serum in him, and that was because the government had done test subjects on African Americans, similar to the Tuskegee experiment. Isaiah Bradley was the only test subject to actually not be corrupted by the super soldier serum. He did help the government, however, the government essentially imprisoned him for so long and made sure to erase all of his files and records of history. In the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sam Wilson makes an exhibit for Isaiah Bradley to commemorate his service that has been long since been buried, and it's now out in the public for people to finally learn. And it was a really touching scene as well, because Isaiah Bradley, this forgotten person, now seeing at least his service be known and at least what he's done for the country finally be recognized, did put a smile on my face, and it was a really endearing scene. But we see that in this shot, Isaiah suddenly stands up, he attacks the security guard, and he attempts to assassinate President Ross. Chaos ensues. Sam Wilson fights off a security guard. We also see what might be SWAT officers entering the White House, and Isaiah Bradley flees the scene. We then see Sam entering this room as he talks to President Ross, saying that his inner circle has been compromised. We get this exterior shot of some sort of secret military base of some sort, where the satellites are emitting this red color. We also see a shot of Sam and Joaquin enter this abandoned military base, and we see this lab, which also emits this kind of orange and red lighting, but the lab looks very reminiscent to the Incredible Hulk film, where we got introduced to the character of Samuel Stearns. Put a pin on that later, because we will get back to it. And we get a quick action sequence with Sam Wilson in his traditional white and blue costume that was introduced in Falcon and Winter Soldier. We then get this voiceover saying that global power is shifting and you are just a pawn. We then get this sequence of Sam Wilson trying to fend off against these soldiers that are trying to tase him. Then we get a shot of Giancarlo Esposito in this film, where he appears to be playing a mercenary. We get the scene of gunfire. We also see these Xmen in an all-black military outfit potentially shooting at Sam. We get another exterior shot of this place, which appears to be messed up, but we also see sakura trees in the background as well. We get this cold line from Ross saying that you're not Steve Rogers as Sam begins to pick up the shield. I get yet another shot of Giancarlo unloading his gun. Cap throws his shield, and we get what appears to be maybe some destruction going on inside the White House, where there seems to be a massive explosion being set off perhaps, and Sam replies saying, "You're right, I'm not." We get this really dope shot of Sam's wings extending out, and we really see this awesome shot of Sam in his new attire, which is a lot more blue than white, and he appears to be flying in the skies, and he cuts a fighter jet's wings with his own Falcon wings too, which is awesome and sick. And we actually see two Falcons here flying right next to each other. On the left, we have Sam Wilson's Captain America, as you can clearly see by the shield, but the other Falcon that's right next to him is actually Joaquin Torres, his new Falcon costume, because in the penultimate episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, during Bucky and Falcon's fight against John Walker, Sam's wings gets ripped off. And after the battle, Sam meets with Joaquin and he gives him the wings. Joaquin's like, "Hey, what do I do?" Where Sam just simply says, "Keep it." This is pretty much a callback to that moment, but also bringing it full circle to where, with Sam now stepping up and taking on the role of Captain America, his ally Joaquin Torres is now assuming Sam Wilson's old role of Falcon, and he's now the new Captain America's sidekick. We close out on the trailer, which gives us the title card of Captain America Brave New World, which flashes from black and white, and we see this shot where Red Hulk grabs Sam's shield and he tosses it to the ground, which officially confirms that Red Hulk is in this. Not only does the official poster for this film, you can see there these big red hands that are grabbing onto the Captain America shield, which are clearly Hulk-sized hands, is an indicator to Red Hulk. I think it might have been this year, McDonald's had released toys for the film of Captain America, because this film was originally slated to release this year, but it got pushed back and is now releasing in early 2025. But this was honestly amazing to see Red Hulk, who's been teased and they've always been coy about this. It's finally cool to see this in live action, and so far from this shot, he looks cool. If y'all don't know who the Red Hulk is, this could be some potential spoilers, so if you don't want to get spoiled on who could be Red Hulk, skip ahead. The true identity of the Red Hulk is actually Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who is the president in this film, with us getting solid confirmation that Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross will be getting gamma radiated cocktail, and he's going to get juiced up, and he's going to be an even more maybe destructive and deadlier Hulk. And I think this is rather an interesting take, and I know the complaints have been, why is Red Hulk not in a Hulk movie and in a Captain America one? It's all a big thing to do with the rights of the Hulk character and how he's under Universal. So Marvel can't necessarily do independent Hulk movies, but they can feature him in ensemble Marvel movies. So that's why you see Hulk in the Avengers films and in Thor Ragnarok and in other projects where he appears with alongside other characters. And I think Red Hulk isn't the only villain here. I think there has to be some point in the film where Thunderbolt Ross gets subjected to experiments that involve gamma radiation or some sort of gamma blood transfusion of some sort. I think the secret villain that they've been teasing and we got a few snippets of is actually the character of Samuel Stearns, aka the Leader, who's actually in the Incredible Hulk movie, played by actor Tim Blake Nelson, and he is confirmed to be returning for this film, playing that exact same character yet again. The last time we saw the character of Samuel Stearns, he had been gravely injured, leaving his forehead to be bloodied and exposed, which allowed for some of Hulk's gamma blood to slip inside him, probably caused him to be mutated or disfigured in some form or fashion. And from the little we see of him in this trailer, sporting this hoodie, and see a later shot of the character where he is in the event before Thunderbolt Ross's speech, where we can even see that his hands are kind of showing this slight green color to them. The way the comic book character looks, where he's a lot more green, he's a lot more of an intellectual kind of villain. He's very smart. He's the polar opposite to the Hulk, where Hulk is a green, strong brute that doesn't have that much intelligence, as opposed to the Leader, who has a very massive megamind kind of forehead, and he's a lot more lean, but he is someone who utilizes his smarts. So I think Samuel Stearns, the Leader, is actually the one orchestrating the events of this film. The sudden assassination attempt on Thunderbolt Ross done by Isaiah Bradley, as well as the fact that, we see Red Hulk in this trailer, and we're also shown Sam Wilson and Joaquin Torres entering this military base, where we see the outside of the base, the satellites are emitting a red color, and as they go further inside the base, they see this lab that's also emitting red lights too. I think this is actually could be how Samuel Stearns may have subjected Isaiah Bradley to some sort of brainwashing akin to Winter Soldier's brainwashing. That explains why the character acted the way he did. But I think these red lights are actually foreshadowing that maybe the Leader may have conducted some experiments on Thunderbolt Ross and maybe infused some of Bruce's blood into Thunderbolt Ross to allow for him to become the Red Hulk. Because if we're going to go back to Incredible Hulk, when we are introduced to Samuel Stearns, we are shown his lab, and we are shown that he's duplicated various amounts of Bruce Banner's blood. I don't think you just simply tease that and you bring it forward to here, where we now get Samuel Stearns, who is maybe the mastermind who is orchestrating the events of this film. Maybe Thunderbolt Ross and Samuel Stearns, the Leader, are working together secretly because of the fact that everything that Thunderbolt Ross says, there's an underlying nature, there's something that he's hiding, he's being secretive about. And I think it could be the fact that Thunderbolt Ross is willing to infuse himself with Hulk blood, as he was obsessed with capturing Bruce Banner because of the fact that Bruce Banner was supposed to create a new super soldier serum through gamma radiation, and gamma radiation is what turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk. So I think that one of the subplots in this movie could be exploring the Weapons Plus program and the super soldier program in the Marvel Universe post Steve Rogers becoming the super soldier. Everybody's been trying to replicate it, but has not even come close to Dr. Erskine's super soldier serum. And that's how we've gotten characters like Red Guardian, played by David Harbour, who's the Russian knockoff to Captain America, who's also been given a similar super soldier serum. With Isaiah Bradley in this film, I think this could be one of the topics of discussion, being the whole super soldier experiments. Another point of discussion that people have been really curious about is, who is Giancarlo Esposito playing? Because if you didn't know already, earlier this year or these past couple of months, Captain America Brave New World went through some reshoots. There are more so just reshooting the opening act of the film. One of the new additions to this newer version of the film is the inclusion of Giancarlo Esposito, who would be in this film. And Giancarlo Esposito has teased that he'd be open to joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe and even the DC Cinematic Universe. So when set photos came out that Giancarlo Esposito was going to be in this film, I dare say he looks awesome. The images that showed of the character, he had these shades, he had a long trench coat, and he was fitted with so many weapons. He has knives on his chest, he has an axe in his jacket, and people were just speculating who could this character be. Some people speculated that he could be the mercenary known as Bushman, who has ties to the character of Moon Knight. Why people were pivoting to that is because of the fact that in Moon Knight episode 5, Mark Spector does mention the character of Bushman, so that's what people were speculating he could be. However, that all got debunked through the source My Time to Shine Hello, who as of late their credibility has been more so questionable to say the least, but they were the ones to come out and say that Giancarlo Esposito would be playing the character of George Washington Bridge from Marvel Comics. Like many of y'all, I know y'all scratching your heads and going, who is this guy? But don't worry, I got you. J.W. Bridge was a member of the mercenary group called the Wild Pack, later known as the Six Pack, which was led by Cable. This Six Pack was decimated in an assault on one of Stripe's hidden bases. Bridge became a major of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the early stages of X-Force. Bridge tracked Cable and tried to capture S.H.I.E.L.D. formed an alliance with Department K and convinced them to have their still-in-training task force called Weapon Prime bring Cable down off the books. So clearly this character not only has ties to the X-Men because of his allegiance to Cable, but also because of the fact that the character has also been known to work with S.H.I.E.L.D. How the MCU's take on this character will be, I'm not too sure, but seeing Giancarlo in this does have me excited, and I can't help but look forward to this dude because the fact that he looks badass. You have Giancarlo in anything, he's gonna kill it no matter what. Another topic of conversation that I think people are forgetting about is the jet plane sequence that we get teased of, where we get this fighter jet sequence, which has been described to be somewhat very Top Gun Maverick-esque, because towards the end of the trailer we see Sam Wilson fighting off against them and avoiding the missiles, but also cutting down one of the fighter jet's wings. I also think it's kind of funny that they're doing these Top Gun Maverick sequences because actor Danny Ramirez, who plays Joaquin Torres in this film, also starred in Top Gun Maverick too. Sam is flying past this huge structure that's behind him in his new Captain America suit that has a lot more blue to it and less white. And we can see that he also happens to be wearing a fighter pilot kind of helmet. This was actually leaked quite a while back, as there were promotional art for this film that showed art of Sam Wilson's new fighter pilot helmet. Considering the fact that there were mentions of Top Gun Maverick dogfight scenes, it now puts into context why he's sporting a new outfit and why there is an inclusion of this fighter pilot helmet, because it can allow for him to fly higher than he normally can. There's also been like fan-made artwork that makes the suit look damn near amazing. Personally, I still favor Sam Wilson's suit in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the one he gets in the finale, which is white and blue, because it's very comic accurate. The new suit, whilst not necessarily my favorite, it is growing on me, and we do get a shot in the trailer, right? He is wearing his normal suit, but I think for the majority of the film he will be wearing this new suit to reflect more so of the very familiar Captain America colors. This is just a theory that I think his new suit could also be sporting the thematic purpose of this film, the fact that Thunderbolt Ross wants Sam Wilson to be the government's hero, whereas Captain America is his own hero. And I think the suit represents that in a good way, where it's using the familiarity of something people know, which is the clothes of Captain America, and it's restricting Sam to being that version of Captain America and not his own. And I think that's what he will learn throughout the course of this film, and especially the line of "You're not Steve Rogers," I think is even more poignant because of the fact that it's going to be Sam proving himself that he can do more things that maybe Steve Rogers couldn't. The structure that is behind them is Tiamat Island, which is from the Eternals. Cersei froze this big Eternal that was Tiamat in the Indian Ocean, and ever since then they've not really mentioned it as much, something that fans continue to echo. Besides a reference in She-Hulk, it's not been touched upon. With the inclusion of Tiamat Island in this film, it's rumored that Tiamat Island is going to be the source of adamantium, and if you know adamantium, it's one of the well-known fictional metals in the Marvel universe next to vibranium. Also, we know that adamantium is very synonymous to the character of Wolverine, who's known to have an adamantium skeleton and his adamantium claws. Through the inclusion of Tiamat, we could be seeing like different parts of the world in a race against time to see who can obtain this very rare new metal that's been undiscovered, and later on we could see how that metal will have maybe bigger implications going forward. I think with the potential rumor that Tiamat is going to be the source of adamantium, this can help Marvel and the MCU later on do their version of Wolverine. This is another theory I have, is that maybe Tiamat Island could also set up the Avengers' new base, as in the Marvel comics, one of the more recent Avengers bases is known as Avengers Mountain, which is the corpse of the Celestial known as the Progenitor. Overall, I am just really excited for this film. While Captain America Brave New World looks like something familiar, I think it's hitting the right familiarity, which is that of Captain America Winter Soldier, with this whole espionage kind of thing going on, and the political intrigue and the political thriller aspects of it, which I think if they are able to do that right here, I really hope they use those elements correctly for this film, because of the fact that Secret Invasion really fell short when we had something like Captain America Winter Soldier. Going from that to Secret Invasion feels like such a step down. So I hope that for this new Captain America film, they really learn from their mistakes, especially with Secret Invasion, and they really properly utilize what we love about Winter Soldier and bring it into this film as well. I'm also just really ecstatic to see Anthony Mackie leading his own theatrical film as a very big Marvel character and as a legacy character of Captain America, which I think is well deserved, because I believe that Falcon and Winter Soldier really showed us a lot to Sam's character, and to see the further adventures of Sam Wilson in a theatrical film is always a delight for me. Hopefully this film makes Anthony Mackie a really good star and a good leading man at that as well, and especially the other elements like the whole Tiamat Island. But of course the big talking point of this whole trailer was the fact that we got confirmation of Red Hulk, and to see how it all plays out is going to be really interesting. That wraps the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, as this shows your support. Hit the bell notification icon to be notified of when our videos go live, and till then, see you guys on the next one.